Michael Vick. Michael Vick didn't just play quarterback, he rewrote what the position could be. When the Atlanta Falcons made him the first overall pick in 2001, nobody had seen an NFL quarterback move like this before. At 6 feet tall with 4.33 speed, Vick turned every snap into a potential highlight reel. What made Vick electric wasn't just his speed, it was his unpredictability. Defensive coordinators would scheme all week, only to watch Vick scramble left, stop on a dime, and launch a 60-yard bomb downfield while falling backward. In 2004, he became the first quarterback to rush for over 1,000 yards in a season. His Monday Night Football performance against Washington in 2010, after returning from suspension, showed a player who could still make the impossible look routine. He threw for 333 yards, ran for 80 more, and orchestrated one of the greatest comebacks in primetime history. Defenders weren't just trying to tackle him, they were trying to predict which dimension he'd disappear into next. Vick's legacy transcends statistics. He forced the NFL to completely reimagine quarterback play, paving the way for Lamar Jackson, Cam Newton, and every dual-threat QB who followed. Young players started wearing number 7 because of him. Defensive coordinators still lose sleep designing spy packages because of what Vick did. He proved that a quarterback could be the most dangerous runner on the field and still command respect as a passer. Love him or hate him, there's never been anyone quite like Mike Vick, and there probably never will be again. Before we continue, if you're loving this countdown of the most electrifying players in NFL history, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell so you never miss our breakdowns of football's greatest moments. Now, let's get back to number 11. Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders made defenders look foolish for a living. The Detroit Lions drafted him 3rd overall in 1989, and for the next decade, he turned routine handoffs into must-see television. At just 5'8" and 200 pounds, Sanders had a center of gravity so low he could change directions faster than linebackers could process what they were seeing. What separated Sanders from every other running back was his supernatural vision and body control. He'd receive a handoff heading left, see a wall of defenders, plant his foot, and be cutting back right before anyone realized what happened. His 1997 season stands as one of football's greatest individual performances. 2,053 rushing yards, despite opposing defenses, knowing exactly who was getting the ball. The Thanksgiving Day games became must-watch events because Sanders would inevitably do something that defied physics. He juked all-pro linebackers into the turf, made Pro Bowl safeties grab air, and turned tackles for loss into 80-yard touchdowns. His highlight reel isn't just impressive, it's evidence that some athletes operate on a different plane of existence. Sanders retired at 30, walking away from the game on his own terms while still in his prime. He left 1,457 yards short of Walter Payton's all-time rushing record, shocking the football world. But his impact never needed a record book to validate it. Running backs today study his film not to copy his style that's impossible, but to understand how creativity and vision can overcome size and power. Sanders showed that the most electric plays don't come from running through people, but from making them look silly trying to catch you. He was art in cleats, and the Lions have spent 25 years searching for anything close to what they had. Deion Sanders. Deion primetime. Sanders didn't just play cornerback, he performed. When he stepped on the field, you didn't just watch football, you witnessed swagger personified. Playing for 5 teams across 14 seasons, Sanders revolutionized what a defensive back could do. At 6'1" with 4.27 speed and unlimited confidence, he didn't just cover receivers, he erased them. Sanders was electric on both sides of the ball and special teams. He could lock down the league's best receiver, then flip to offense and burn defenses deep, then return a punt for a touchdown all in the same game. His 1996 season with Dallas showcased his complete dominance. He intercepted passes, scored touchdowns on offense and special teams, and played in a Super Bowl. Primetime high-stepped into the end zone, did his signature dance, and dared anyone to stop him. He intercepted 53 passes in his career and returned 9 for touchdowns. But the real stat was this: teams simply stopped throwing to his side of the field. He didn't just shut down half the field, he made offensive coordinators redesign their entire game plan. After retirement, Sanders proved he was just as electric off the field. He became a charismatic analyst, then a transformative college coach at Jackson State and Colorado. His impact on football culture is immeasurable. The showmanship, the confidence, the belief that dominating your opponent should look good. Every defensive back who talks trash, high steps before the end zone, or celebrates with excessive flair is channeling Deion. He showed that defense could be just as exciting as offense, and that confidence wasn't arrogance if you could back it up. Primetime didn't just play the game, he owned it. Devin Hester. Devin Hester made special teams actually special. When the Chicago Bears drafted him in 2006, they knew he was fast. What they didn't know was that they just found the most dangerous returner in NFL history. Hester didn't just return kicks, he turned them into legitimate offensive weapons that changed games. The moment that defined Hester came in Super Bowl 41, when he returned the opening kickoff 92 yards for a touchdown against Indianapolis. It was the first ever Super Bowl opening kickoff return for a score, and it announced to the world that this kid was different. By the end of his career, Hester had returned 20 kicks and punts for touchdowns, an NFL record that may never be broken. Teams became so terrified of him that they'd punt out of bounds or kick short, sacrificing field position just to keep the ball away from him. The Hester rule led to touchbacks being moved to the 25-yard line because he was too dominant. When a player literally forces rule changes, you know you're watching someone special. Hester's legacy is visible every time a returner fields a kick. The electric anticipation when a dangerous return man catches the ball, that's Hester's gift to football. He transformed special teams from a bathroom break into appointment viewing. Teams now draft return specialists, specifically because Hester proved they could be game changers. Coaches design schemes to prevent what Hester did because nobody wants to be on his highlight reel. He made the most overlooked aspect of football must-see TV, and nobody has come close to matching his impact since. Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill earned the nickname Cheetah for one simple reason. He's the fastest player on every field he touches. Since entering the league with Kansas City in 2016 and now starring for Miami, Hill has turned short passes into long touchdowns so consistently that defenses have had to completely restructure how they play coverage. Hill's game-breaking speed creates a paradox for defenses. Play him close, and he burns you deep. Back off, and he catches a quick slant and outruns your entire secondary anyway. His 2022 season with Miami produced 1,710 receiving yards. Not because he ran complicated routes, but because once he touches the ball, the chase is usually over. He scored on plays from 70, 75, and 80-plus yards so many times that announcers barely seem surprised anymore. Hill can take a jet sweep from his own 20-yard line and legitimately score, forcing defenses to respect the entire field on every single play. His ability to accelerate to top speed in just a few steps creates angles defenders can't close, even when they know exactly what's coming. The cheetah effect has changed modern NFL offense. Teams now prioritize pure speed at receiver because Hill proved it's the ultimate weapon. Defensive coordinators dedicate entire meetings to stopping one player, rotating safeties toward him, assigning their fastest cornerback plus help over the top. But it rarely matters. Hill still finds ways to get loose. He's forced the league to evolve, proving that in an era of elaborate schemes and complex coverages, sometimes the answer is simple: just be faster than everyone else. When Hill retires, his legacy won't just be his stats, it'll be every offense that copied Miami's blueprint of get it to your fastest guy in space and watch him run away from everybody. Lamar Jackson walked into the NFL with critics, questioning if he should switch to wide receiver. 6 years later, he's a two-time MVP who's fundamentally changed how teams evaluate the quarterback position. Drafted by Baltimore in 2018, Jackson didn't just succeed as a running quarterback, he became the most electrifying player in football by making the impossible look effortless. Jackson's 2019 MVP season remains one of the most dominant individual performances in NFL history. He threw for 3,127 yards and 36 touchdowns, while rushing for 1,206 yards and 7 more scores. But statistics don't capture what makes him electric. It's the way he creates something from nothing. 3rd and 15 becomes a scramble drill where Jackson jukes 3 defenders, spins away from a sack, and somehow finds a receiver downfield for a first down. Designed runs turn into video game plays where he reads blocks, hits the cutback lane, and accelerates past angles defenders thought they had. He makes professional athletes look slow and confused, turning broken plays into touchdowns so frequently that Ravens fans expect magic on every snap. Jackson's impact extends beyond Baltimore. Every NFL draft now features teams reaching for mobile quarterbacks, hoping to find their own version of what Jackson brings. Defensive coordinators have added Lamar packages to their playbooks, specific schemes designed to contain one player. He proved that the quarterback doesn't have to be just a passer or just a runner, he can be the most dangerous weapon on offense doing both. Young kids growing up, watching Jackson learn that your style doesn't have to fit the traditional mold. You can redefine the position by being authentically yourself, fast, creative, and electric beyond measure. Randy Moss showed up to the NFL in 1998 and immediately broke the rookie touchdown record with 17 scores. For the next 14 years, he terrorized defensive backs with a combination of size, speed, and body control that made "just throw it up there" a legitimate offensive strategy. At 6'4", with 4.25 speed, Moss created matchup nightmares that had no solution. The phrase "mossed" entered football vocabulary because of what he did to defenders. He'd run past cornerbacks, outjump safeties, and catch passes that seemed physically impossible to reach. His 2007 season with New England remains the greatest receiving performance ever. 23 touchdown catches with Tom Brady, setting a record that defined offensive dominance. Moss made the deep ball relevant again. Teams had to dedicate extra defenders deep just to prevent him from scoring on every play, opening up the entire offense underneath. He'd jog through routes, making defenders think he wasn't a threat, then explode past them at full speed when the ball was snapped. His famous one-handed catches weren't showboating, they were just him making plays others couldn't make with two hands. Moss changed how teams build offenses and evaluate wide receivers. The modern obsession with big, fast receivers who can win jump balls traces directly back to what Moss did. Cornerbacks who couldn't run with him were exposed. Defensive coordinators who single-covered him were fired. He forced double teams, opened up offenses, and made quarterbacks look better just by being on the field. When you watch modern receivers, high-point passes, and make spectacular catches in traffic, you're watching Randy Moss's influence. He didn't just catch passes, he redefined what was possible at the position. Chris Johnson ran a 4.24 40-yard dash at the NFL Combine, and then spent his career proving the stopwatch wasn't lying. Drafted by Tennessee in 2008, CJ2K brought a different kind of speed to the running back position, the kind that turned routine handoffs into six-point eruptions and made entire defenses look foolish trying to keep up. Johnson's 2009 season stands as one of football's most explosive individual campaigns. He rushed for 2,006 yards while averaging an absurd 5.6 yards per carry, scoring 16 times on the ground. But the yardage total doesn't capture what made him electric, it was how he got those yards. Johnson would hit the hole, see a crease, and be at top speed in 2 steps. Linebackers had angles. Then they didn't. Safeties came downhill to make tackles. Then Johnson was past them scoring from 85 yards out. He'd break one tackle, and suddenly the defense needed someone running a 4.2 to catch him, and nobody on the field could. His combination of vision, patience, and explosive acceleration created the perfect storm of open field terror. The CJ2K nickname became shorthand for game-breaking speed. Johnson proved that elite straight-line speed could still dominate in the NFL, despite defenses getting faster and smarter. He forced opponents to keep safeties deep, opening up play action and the passing game. His presence changed how teams defended Tennessee. They couldn't stack the box because one missed tackle meant a touchdown. Modern running backs with 4.3 speed owe part of their evaluation to what Johnson did. He showed that if you're fast enough, schemes don't matter. You just need one block, one step, and one burst to leave everyone behind. Cordarrelle Patterson might be the most versatile electric player in NFL history. Drafted as a wide receiver in 2013, Patterson has spent 11 years proving he can score from anywhere on the field: returner, receiver, running back, or wildcat quarterback. His unique skill set has made him impossible to define and even harder to defend. Patterson holds the NFL record with 8 career kickoff return touchdowns, tied with legends of special teams past. But what makes him truly electric is his adaptability. Teams line him up in the backfield, and he shows running back vision and power. They motion him outside, and he becomes a deep threat. They hand him the ball on reverses, and he's gone before defenses can react. His 2022 season with Atlanta showcased his evolution. He rushed for over 1,000 yards as a 31-year-old converted receiver, proving his electric ability transcended position. Patterson's 109-yard kickoff return touchdown against Green Bay in 2013 remains one of the longest plays in NFL history, a perfect example of his ability to make defenders miss in the open field. Patterson's legacy is his versatility creating chaos. Defensive coordinators can't just prepare for one thing, they have to account for Patterson everywhere. Special teams coordinators kick away from him. Offensive coaches create packages specifically for his skill set. He's proven that electric doesn't mean specializing in one thing, it means being dangerous in everything you do. Patterson rewrote the rules about position flexibility, showing that elite athletes can contribute anywhere if you're creative enough to use them. Saquon Barkley walked into the NFL with impossible expectations and somehow exceeded them. The New York Giants made him the 2nd overall pick in 2018, and he immediately showed why combining power, speed, agility, and vision into one devastating package. At 6 feet and 233 pounds, with 4.4 speed, Barkley created matchup problems that had no answer. What makes Barkley electric is his ability to create explosive plays from nothing. The Giants' offensive line has struggled for years, yet Barkley consistently turns potential losses into big gains. He'll take a handoff, see defenders in the backfield, jump over one, spin past another, plant his foot, and accelerate through a gap that didn't exist a second earlier. His rookie season produced 2,028 yards from scrimmage and 15 touchdowns, despite everyone knowing he was getting the ball. His catch and run ability makes him lethal in space. Short passes turn into long gains because linebackers can't cover him and safeties can't tackle him. Barkley's reverse hurdle against Philadelphia, where he jumped backward over a defender, wasn't just athletic, it was physics-defying. Barkley represents the modern every-down back who can do everything. He runs between tackles with power, bounces outside with speed, catches passes like a receiver, and breaks tackles in ways that seem impossible. His presence forces defenses to respect every aspect of the offense, opening up the passing game just by being on the field. Despite playing behind struggling offensive lines, Barkley has remained one of football's most exciting players, proving that elite talent can overcome systematic failures. When he touches the ball, you watch differently because you know something special might happen. Cam Newton arrived in 2011 as the first overall pick and immediately announced himself as something the NFL had never quite seen before. A 6'5", 245-pound quarterback with running back speed and linebacker power. For a decade, Newton redefined what was possible at the position, combining size, strength, and athleticism into the most physically imposing quarterback in history. Newton's 2015 MVP season showcased his complete dominance. He threw for 35 touchdowns, rushed for 10 more, and led Carolina to a 15-1 record. But statistics don't capture what made him electric. It was watching him truck linebackers, leap over defenders into the end zone, and then throw lasers 60 yards downfield. Newton made goal line situations unfair because you couldn't stop both the run and pass with the same personnel. He'd run designed keepers, lower his shoulder into defenders twice his speed, and celebrate with his signature Superman pose. His smile, confidence, and unique style made him must-see TV even in losses. Newton brought fashion, personality, and swagger to the quarterback position in ways that transcended football. Newton's impact opened doors for every quarterback who followed. He proved that size and power could coexist with finesse and accuracy. Young quarterbacks learned they didn't have to fit one mold. They could be big, powerful, fast, and still command respect as passers. Despite injuries shortening his prime, Newton's legacy lives in every goal line package where the quarterback becomes a running threat. He showed that the most electric plays don't require trickery. Sometimes you just need a quarterback who can physically dominate everyone on the field. Christian McCaffrey entered the NFL in 2017 and immediately proved he was different. The Carolina Panthers knew he could run and catch, but what they discovered was a true offensive weapon who could line up anywhere and dominate. At 5'11" and 205 pounds, McCaffrey doesn't overpower anyone. He just outruns, outcatches, and outthinks everyone trying to tackle him. McCaffrey's 2019 season remains one of the most complete running back performances in modern NFL history. He rushed for 1,387 yards and caught 116 passes for 1,005 more, becoming just the third player ever with 1,000 yards rushing and receiving in the same season. But his value goes beyond statistics. McCaffrey turns checkdowns into explosive plays, reads blocks perfectly on outside runs, and catches passes downfield like a true receiver. His ability to line up in the slot, run routes against linebackers, and create separation makes him impossible to defend with traditional personnel. He's electric because defenses never know where he's coming from: the backfield, the slot, motion across the formation, or a screen pass. His 2023 season with San Francisco showed he could be even more dangerous in a creative offensive system. McCaffrey represents the evolution of the running back position: versatile, intelligent, and impossible to take off the field. He's forced defenses to substitute differently, scheme specifically for him, and dedicate extra resources to one player. Modern running backs are now evaluated on their receiving ability because McCaffrey proved that catching passes isn't just an added skill, it's essential. He's electric because he makes offenses unlimited, giving coordinators options that open up everything else. When McCaffrey retires, his legacy will be every dual-threat back who followed his blueprint for total offensive dominance. Who's the most electric player you've ever watched? Drop your pick in the comments below and let's debate. And if you loved this breakdown, don't forget to smash that like button subscribe for more NFL deep dives, and hit the notification bell so you never miss when we drop the next video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.